Good morning, guppies. Yesterday, somebody asked how I got into filmmaking and how I got so good at video editing. And quite honestly, I'm obsessed with it. It's all I do. I don't have a personal life, and I'm not normal. So today, I'm going to break down some YouTube channels that I watch that give me inspiration and help me do my job.
Shoot this motherfucker!
Look at the light test, and then when I nail it.
Sharks in order.
So first things first, turn off your notifications and stop binge watching the latest Peter McKinnon content. And secondly, I want you to subscribe to the channels that I'm going to link in the description below, and I'm going to tell you why I trust their advice. Are you trying to be a YouTuber, or do you want an actual career in filmmaking? Because advice from YouTubers that aren't working in the film industry are only going to help so much. Channels like Peter McKinnon's are so large, it's hard to avoid their influence, and that's exactly what's working against you because it's everywhere, and everybody's doing what he's doing. And if you want to be different, you're going to have to knock that shit off and try to find something original of your own. Don't subscribe to channels that tell you how to build your audience. Find a few that give you tips on how to optimize your content, build your SEO, and how to pick and design your thumbnails correctly, and move the fuck on and don't look back. That's the basics. You're going to have to work, and that's going to take time. There's no shortcuts to this. Unless you're lucky enough to get a viral video, which chances of that are like 1 in 10 million or something. So before I start this list, I would have preferred to list more female filmmakers and more creators from the gay community. However, it was so hard to find because no matter what I type in for filmmaking advice, it's oversaturated with channels like McKinnon's and all of his friends. But if you notice, a few days ago when the new DJI drone dropped, everybody uploaded their video at the same time. So no matter what, you cannot get away from brand placement. You're having these products shoved down your throat, and then you're comparing your work to them as starting out, thinking that you need to dump all this money on gear that you don't fucking need in the first place. The content you consume will influence your style, and if it's so heavily saturated with repetition and people that are just copying the same format, that's not going to set you apart. So it's going to actually work against you and probably discourage you a good bit when you're wondering why your videos aren't taking off like theirs. Your video's not taking off like theirs because it's the same carbon copy bullshit that everybody else is doing, and it's not going to get traction. You have to find what your thing is and do it, not find that thing that everybody else is doing and try to do it and hoping that you're going to get shared views for being in the same category. That's not how that works. The first, I would say one of the most important things that you're going to need to know when it comes to filmmaking is always going to be lighting over gear. If you can't, it doesn't matter what you shoot this on. You can shoot things on an iPhone and make them look more cinematic just because you know how to light the image properly than if you had a Red and lit it like shit because you don't know what you're doing. Let's list some channels here that I watch whose advice I take. I primarily am a concert photographer, so I'm heavily ingrained in the electronic music scene. So when I'm not on tour and I'm not backstage shooting some DJ's content, this is what I do. I wake up every morning, 4 a.m., YouTube is on, nothing but filmmaking tutorials, just so it's constantly in my ears, subconsciously reminding me lighting ratios, contrast. My tutorials play overhead while I'm working at my desk, and they do not go off until I'm done working for the day, which is usually 4 a.m. to 6 or 7 p.m. I'm not a normal person. I obsess over this, and I am so highly competitive that if I see somebody doing something better than me, I have to find 500 ways to do it better than they have. Because I'm a child. Let's see, music videos, YC Imaging. He gives a lot of solid advice on music videos and creating in general. Pitfalls, he's pretty honest with his content, and the product placement that you see in his videos as far as the stuff that he's endorsing, he doesn't shove it down your throat, and I trust his judgment because he's not a YouTuber. He's a filmmaker that's on YouTube. So I've seen his body of work outside the platform, and then I've seen his YouTube work. So I trust his advice because I see what he really does for a living, which is not YouTube. Film Riot, I think, is probably the best channel on YouTube. It's literally everything from filmmaking techniques to lighting to VFX to how to conduct yourself on set, how to roll a sound blanket properly, everything. And they've been doing this a long time. Once again, these are filmmakers on YouTube, not YouTubers. I would say my favorite channel and the one at the top of my list is Sorelle Amore. I love her so much. She's a good vibe. She's very intelligent. I like her point of view on things. And her channel has gone from posing advice and photography tips to wealth building and sustainability and a lot of things that don't really even have anything to do with filmmaking. Her business advice is solid. The woman reached financial independence by the time she was 30 and just bought a house in cash. So because of that, I trust her advice when it comes to how to hustle your business online. She's got a bunch of courses that you can check out by going over to her channel. Valentina Vee, I think this is the #1 female filmmaker on the top of my list. Her portfolio is solid. She mainly breaks down stuff, I think, on Aputure's channel. Very knowledgeable from photo and video advice, how to light stage your scene. And her tutorials are very in-depth, very easy to follow, and they're what you need to know. As far as what gives me myself inspiration, Andreas Hem is another one of my favorite channels. He does what I do on a bigger scale, basically. So those are the kind of videos that I want to do. However, I live in Brooklyn. I have 2 friends. Flick. I don't want to list them as a female creative, but them. Very solid set advice on how to DP, the responsibilities of a job as a second AC, what you should have in your gear bag when you're doing grip work. Are any of these terms even ringing a bell to you? Do you even know what I'm talking about? If you don't know what I'm talking about, you really need to be subscribing to this list that I'm providing you. If you can't speak a language, how are you going to communicate? So you need to learn very basic filmmaking terminology. Do you need to know what a pan versus a tilt versus a tracking or a chucking shot is? Do you know what these things are? If you don't, Studio Binder will break these shots down for you so they're easy to consume and easy to understand. Ian Corzine is a lawyer. Now, he's not a filmmaker, but he will help guide you through YouTube copyright information. Things that pertain to protecting your work online, things that pertain to your own copyright and your own intellectual property protections. This is a channel that has solid legal advice, and anytime you email him or comment, he is very responsive and he's always there to help. Photography advice. I'm going to plug my friend Elena's channel here for high-end Photoshop retouching. Are you in the beauty industry? Are you trying to break into fashion photography? You want to know what it takes to see your shit on the cover of Vogue? See this shelf right here? These are Elena's magazine covers. If you want to see the level of work and how much it takes to get your images on the cover of a fashion magazine, you'll want to check out Elena's retouching tutorials below. The dodge and burn tutorial that she has will change your life. I promise you. Lucy Martin, another dope creative, just came over on the comments section. Lucy's channel breaks down a lot of mobile photography tips. So those of you that can't afford high-end camera equipment, you can use your phone. Unless you're on an Android, then I'm sorry. I don't know why you would even go there. There's a lot of Lightroom tutorials on her channel, and overall, she's dope. Another VFX channel I watch is Red Giant because I use their plugins, so there's a lot of in-depth tutorials with After Effects and a couple other programs on there, production level visual effects that can get you paid. I really don't like to consume a lot of brainless content and things that aren't going to teach me something that I need to know that I can apply to my job to make me worth more, to make me more effective, to make me more efficient, to make me faster, to make me better. These channels, like I said, they're not YouTubers. They're predominantly filmmakers that are on YouTube. And I think at the end of the day, a lot of you guys really need to know the difference between the two, or at least know the difference between what your goals are with your content, whether you're just playing around for YouTube or whether you want to actually pursue a legit filmmaking career and being paid and get union jobs. Everybody thinks that you have to give things away for free to get your name out. That's not really true. I'm sure all of you are friends with somebody that owns a tattoo shop, or somebody that owns a restaurant or a coffee spot, or someone that's got their own clothing label. You could practice on your friends and give them content that they could use to market while you build your skill set. So I think it's really important that you get the mentality that you have to do things for free or you have to do things for exposure out of your head, because even if you're still learning and you don't have that much experience, you still deserve some sort of compensation for the work that you're putting in and your willingness to learn how to do it. So if you don't feel comfortable charging much, practice on your friends that need marketing content. I trade for all of my stuff. I get my tattoos for free because I do my tattoo artist videos, and then it saves me money in the long run, and then we both get the content we need, and we're both equally compensated for what we're providing for each other. You can work on trade, which is, if you're building a portfolio, I would suggest trying to work on trade first rather than just giving people free shit and letting them take advantage. It's 2021. There's no more room for that. Everybody needs something for their time. So with that being said, I'm Sean Cooper. Feel free to give me a follow at the link below. You can follow me on Bullshark here. I hope I was able to string some things together that seem to make sense, because I recorded this video twice because I still don't quite have my shit together to push all my buttons to get them started at the same time. See, my screen is lagging. I don't even know if this is recording. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up in the comments section below. Ask me anything. I'm an open book. Until then, see y'all guppies next week. Show some teeth, honeys. Take a big bite.
You son of a...